enemy's throat with its serrated, saw-like fangs. Pokemon Crystal. In prehistoric times, this Pokemon flew freely and fearlessly through the skies. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Aerodactyl is a Pokemon from the age of dinosaurs. It was regenerated from genetic material extracted from amber. It is imagined to have been the king of the skies in ancient times. Pokemon Sun. A Pokemon from the age of the dinosaurs, it used its saw-like fangs to shred its prey before eating them. Pokemon Moon. In ancient times, it ruled the skies. A widely accepted theory is that it went extinct due to a large meteor impact. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Restored from DNA found in amber, this Pokemon exhibited ferocity that was greater than expected. Some casualties resulted. Pokemon Ultra Moon. It flew through the open skies over the ancient continent as if they were its own. When it touched ground, its walk was weak and slow. Pokemon Sword. This is a ferocious Pokemon from ancient times. Apparently, even modern technology is incapable of producing a perfectly restored specimen. Pokemon Shield. Aerodactyl saw-like fangs can shred skin to tatters, even the skin of Steel-type Pokemon. Mega Aerodactyl. Mega Aerodactyl. Part of its body has become stone. Some scholars claim that this is Aerodactyl's true appearance. Pokemon Moon. When it Mega evolves, it becomes more vicious than ever before. Some say that's because its excess of power is causing it pain. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. The power of Mega Evolution has completely restored its genes. The rocks on its body are harder than diamond. Sudowoodo, 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 Sudowoodo. Sudowoodo. Pokemon Gold, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, and Pokemon Scarlet. Although it always pretends to be a tree, its composition appears to be closer to a rock than a plant. Pokemon Silver, Fire Red, Soul Silver, and Pokemon Violet. It disguises itself as a tree to avoid attack. It hates water, so it will disappear if it starts raining. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Sudowoodo camouflages itself as a tree to avoid being attacked by enemies. However, because the forelegs remain green throughout the year, this Pokemon is easily identified as a fake during the winter. Pokemon Moon. Apparently, the larger the green parts of this Pokemon, the more collectors value it. It's a particular favorite among elderly people. Pokemon Ultra Sun. It's so popular with the elderly that there's a magazine devoted to this Pokemon. Fans obsess over the particular length and angle of its arms. Pokemon Ultra Moon. The result of its holding the same pose all the time is arms that have become supple, yet strong. Pokemon Legends Arceus. even children, to the touch. Its body feels more like rock than tree bark. Sudowoodo's extreme aversion to water merits special note. Nosepass. Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Omega Ruby. Nosepass's magnetic nose is always pointed to the north. If two of these Pokemon meet, they cannot turn their faces to each other when they are close because their magnetic noses repel one another. Pokemon Sapphire and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Nosepass has been said to be completely unmoving, with its magnetic nose pointed due north. However, close observation has revealed that the Pokemon actually moves by a little over 3/8 of an inch every year. Pokemon Emerald. Its body emits a powerful magnetism. It feeds on prey that is pulled in by the force. Its magnetism is stronger in cold seasons. Pokemon Sun. The magnet in Nosepass's nose provides an unerring compass, making it an excellent partner for trainers going on a journey. Pokemon Moon. It uses powerful magnetism to drag its prey toward it. It's also been known to pull in metal, which it collects and uses to protect itself. Pokemon Ultra Sun. It moves less than an inch a year, but when it's in a jam, it will spin and drill down into the ground in a split second. Pokemon Ultra Moon. It hunts without twitching a muscle by pulling in its prey with powerful magnetism, but sometimes it pulls natural enemies in close. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Once the people of Hisui discovered that its red nose always points north, they grew to rely on it greatly when traveling afar. The nose seems to work in a similar way to ancient compasses. Regirock. Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Omega Ruby. Regirock was sealed away by people long ago. If this Pokemon's body is damaged in battle, it is said to seek out suitable rocks on its own to repair itself. Pokemon Sapphire and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Regirock's body is composed entirely of rocks. Recently, a study made the startling discovery that the rocks were all unearthed from different locations. Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Pokemon Y. The same rocks that form its body have been found in ground layers around the world. Pokemon Shield. Cutting-edge technology was used to study the internals of this Pokemon's rock body, but nothing was found, not even a brain or a heart. Cranidos. Pokemon Pearl, Pokemon X, Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Shining Pearl. It was resurrected from an iron ball-like fossil. It downs prey with its headbutts. Pokemon Platinum, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. A lifelong jungle dweller from 100 million years ago. It would snap, obstructing trees with headbutts. Pokemon Sun. It lived in jungles around 100 million years ago. It used its skillful headbutts to combat Aerodactyl. Pokemon Ultra Sun. A primeval Pokemon. It possesses a hard and sturdy skull, lacking any intelligence within. Pokemon Ultra Moon. Its hard skull is its distinguishing feature. It snapped trees by headbutting them, and then it fed on their ripe berries. Pokemon Legends Arceus. An incredibly rare sight. They duel each other by ramming their heads together, and the resulting sound echoes throughout the area like the pealing of a bell. Rampardos. Pokemon Platinum, Black and White, Pokemon Black and White 2. If two were to smash their heads together, their foot-thick skulls would keep them from fainting. Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Pokemon X, and Pokemon Omega Ruby. Its skull withstands impacts of any magnitude. As a result, its brain never gets the chance to grow. Pokemon Sun. The result of repeated headbutts is a skull grown thick and hard. However, its brain has shrunk in size compared with Cranidos's. Pokemon Moon. Records exist of a revived fossil that evolved into Rampardos. It proceeded to escape and then destroy a skyscraper with a headbutt. Pokemon Ultra Sun. In ancient times, people would dig up fossils of this Pokemon and use its skull, which is harder than steel, to make helmets. Pokemon Ultra Moon. This ancient Pokemon used headbutts skillfully. Its brain was really small, so some theories suggest that its stupidity led to its extinction. Bonsly. Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. It looks as if it is always crying. It is actually adjusting its body's fluid levels by eliminating access. Pokemon Pearl, Pokemon X, Pokemon Omega Ruby. It leaks water from its eyes to adjust its body's fluid levels. Pokemon Sun. It does not deal well with water, so it lives in dry locales. Since its surroundings tend to lack greenery, it stands out noticeably. Pokemon Moon and Pokemon Violet. From its eyes, it can expel excess moisture from its body. This liquid is similar in composition to human sweat. Pokemon Ultra Moon. If its body gets too damp, it will die. So in a process reminiscent of sweating, its eyes expel moisture. Pokemon Sword. It expels both sweat and tears from its eyes. The sweat is a little salty, while the tears have a slight bitterness. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Its tears elicit sympathy from those who see them, but do not be deceived. This expulsion of body water is merely a physiological mechanism for keeping itself in good health. Rogenrolla, 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 Rogenrolla. Rogenrolla. Pokemon White, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. They were discovered 100 years ago in an earthquake fissure. Inside each one is an energy core. Pokemon Sun. Born deep within the ground, it compares itself with similar species, such as Geodude and Garbink, to settle which has the hardest body. Pokemon Moon. The hexagonal cavity is its ear. It walks in the direction of sounds it hears, but if the sounds cease, It panics and topples over. Pokemon Ultra Sun. The hexagonal hole is its ear. Deep in that ear is an energy core, so if you stick your hand in there, Rogenrolla will be very angry. Pokemon Ultra Moon. It was found in a fissure in a layer of exposed rock. The material that makes up its body is dirt from several hundred years ago. Pokemon Sword. It's as hard as steel, but apparently a long soak in water will cause it to soften a bit. Boldor. Pokemon Black, Pokemon Black and White 2, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. When it overflows with power, the orange crystal on its body glows. It looks for underground water in caves. Pokemon Sun. Its orange crystal is a mass of energy. Just one crystal fragment would provide enough fuel for 100 dump trucks. Pokemon Moon. It explores caves in search of underground water. It's not comfortable around water, so this Pokemon takes great care in lapping it up. Pokemon Ultra Sun. The energy overflowing from its body has turned into orange crystals that are hard enough to smash diamonds. Pokemon Ultra Moon. Its orange crystals are lumps of powerful energy. They're valuable, so Boldor is sometimes targeted for them. Pokemon Shield. It relies on sound in order to monitor what's in its vicinity. When angered, it will attack without ever changing the direction it's facing. Gigalith. Gigalith. Pokemon Black, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Compressing the energy from its internal core lets it fire off an attack capable of blowing away a mountain. Pokemon White. The solar energy absorbed by its body's orange crystals is magnified internally and fired from its mouth. Pokemon Sun. The blasts of energy it makes from sunbeams have terrifying power. However, it's not able to fire its blasts at night or on rainy days. Pokemon Ultra Sun. When it fires off energy with all its might, the power creates countless fissures on its body. Pokemon Ultra Moon. It absorbs rays of sunlight and shoots out energy. It's usually lurking deep beneath the surface. Pokemon Sword. This hardy Pokemon can often be found on construction sites and in mines, working alongside people and Copperajah. Pokemon Shield. Although its energy blasts can blow away a dump truck, they have a limitation. They can only be fired when the sun is out. Archen. Pokemon White, Pokemon X, and Pokemon Omega Ruby. Revived from a fossil, this Pokemon is thought to be the ancestor of all bird Pokemon. Pokemon Black and White 2. It was revived from an ancient fossil. Not able to fly, it lived in treetops and hopped from one branch to another. Pokemon Moon. To all appearances flightless, it was able to glide down from tall treetops to snag its prey. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Once thought to be the ancestor of all bird Pokemon, some of the latest research suggests that may not be the case. Pokemon Shield. Archen is said to be the ancestor of bird Pokemon. It lived in treetops catches prey by running at speeds comparable to those of an automobile. Pokemon Moon. They hunted in flocks. When one Archeops had the prey cornered, another would swoop on it. Pokemon Ultra Sun. This ancient Pokemon's plumage is delicate, so if anyone other than an experienced professional tries to restore it, they will fail. Pokemon Ultra Moon. Said to be an ancestor of bird Pokemon. The muscle it uses to flap its wings are still weak, so it needs a long runway in order to take off. Pokemon Sword. It needs a running start to take off. If Archeops wants to fly, it first needs to run nearly 25 miles per hour, building speed over a course of about 2.5 miles. Pokemon Shield. Though capable of flight, Archeops was apparently better at hunting on the ground. Terrakion. Pokemon Black. This Pokemon came to the defense of Pokemon that lost their homes in a war among humans. Pokemon Black and White 2, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Spoken of in legend, this Pokemon used its phenomenal power to destroy a castle in its effort to protect Pokemon. Pokemon Sword. It has phenomenal power. It will mercilessly crush anyone or anything that bullies small Pokemon. Pokemon Shield. In Unnovan legend, Terrakion battled against humans in an effort to protect other Pokemon. Rockruff. Pokemon Moon. This Pokemon has lived with people since times long ago. It can sense when its trainer is in the dumps and will stick close by its trainer's side. Pokemon Ultra Sun. As they develop, their disposition grows more violent and aggressive. Many trainers find them too much to handle and abandon them. Pokemon Ultra Moon. When it rubs the rocks on its neck against you, that's proof of its love for you. However, the rocks are sharp, so the gesture is quite painful. Pokemon Shield. This Pokemon intimidates opponents by striking the ground with the rocks on its neck. The moment an opponent flinches, Rockruff attacks. Pokemon Scarlet. This Pokemon is very friendly when it's young. Its disposition becomes vicious once it matures, but it never forgets the kindness of its master. Lycanroc. Midday form. Pokemon Sun. Its quick movements confuse its enemies. Well equipped with claws and fangs, it also uses the sharp rocks in its mane as weapons. Pokemon Moon. When properly raised from a young age, it will become a trustworthy partner that will absolutely never betray its trainer. Pokemon Ultra Sun. The sharp rocks in its mane can cut like knives. Lycanroc wears its prey down by degrees before finishing them off. Pokemon Ultra Moon. The rocks in its mane are sharper than a knife. Fragments that break off are treasured as good luck charms. Pokemon Shield. With swift movements, this Pokemon gradually backs its prey into a corner. Lycanroc's fangs are always aimed toward opponents' weak spots. Lycanroc. Midnight form. Pokemon Sun. The more intimidating the opponent it faces, the more this Pokemon's blood boils. It will attack with no regard for its own safety. Pokemon Ultra Sun. It has no problem ignoring orders powers it doesn't like. It doesn't seem to mind getting hurt at all, as long as it can finish off its opponent. Pokemon Ultra Moon. They live alone without forming packs. They will only listen to orders from trainers who can draw out their true power. Pokemon Shield. It's invigorated by powerful opponents. The stronger, the better. A full force headbutt from one of these Lycanroc can shatter giant boulders. Pokemon Scarlet. This Pokemon uses its rocky mane to slash any who approach. It will even disobey its trainer if it dislikes the orders it was given. Pokemon Violet. This Lycanroc has an extremely vicious temperament. It will happily sustain injuries for the sake of taking down its opponent. Lycanroc. Dusk form. Pokemon Ultra Sun. Bathed in the setting sun of evening, Lycanroc has undergone a special kind of evolution. An intense fighting spirit underlies its calmness. Pokemon Ultramoon. This strange form is the result of its evolving at dusk. It's very rare in Alola. Pokemon Shield and Pokemon Violet. These Pokemon have both calm and ferocious qualities. Their temperamental nature makes them a difficult species to raise. Minior, meteor form. Pokemon Moon. Strong impacts can knock it out of its shell. This Pokemon was born from mutated nanoparticles. Pokemon Ultra Sun. It lives in the ozone layer, where it becomes food for stronger Pokemon. When it tries to run away, it falls to the ground. Minior core form. Pokemon Sun. It eats dust in the atmosphere. The composition of the dust determines the color of its core. Pokemon Moon. If its core stays exposed, it will soon die off. It's possible that it may survive if it's put into a Pokeball quickly enough. Rolycoly, 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 Rolycoly. Pokemon Sword. Most of its body has the same composition as coal. Fittingly, this Pokemon was first discovered in coal mines about 400 years ago. Pokemon Shield. It can race around like a unicycle, even on rough, rocky terrain. Burning coal sustains it. Pokemon Scarlet. On sunny days, Rolycoly will come out onto grassy plains and roll around. Then it will eat the grass that gets tangled in its wheel-like leg. Pokemon Violet. Chunks of the surface of this Pokemon's body that have grown old and flaked off have long been used for fuel as an alternative to coal. Stone Journer. Pokemon Sword. It stands in grasslands, watching the sun's descent from zenith to horizon. This Pokemon has a talent for delivering dynamic kicks. Pokemon Shield. Once a year. On a specific date and at a specific time, they gather out of nowhere and form up in a circle. Pokemon Scarlet. The elemental composition of the rocks that form its body were found to match the bedrock of a land far away from this Pokemon's habitat. Nacli, 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 Nacli. Pokemon Scarlet. It was born in a layer of rock salt deep under earth. This This species was particularly treasured in the old days as they would share precious salt. Pokemon Violet. The ground scrapes its body as it travels, causing it to leave salt behind. Salt is constantly being created and replenished inside Nacli's body. Knuckle stick. Knuckle stack. Pokemon Scarlet. This Pokemon dry cures its prey by spraying salt all over them. The curing process steals away the water in the prey's body. Pokemon Violet. It compresses rock salt inside its body and shoots out hardened salt pellets with enough force to perforate an iron sheet. Garganacl. Pokemon Scarlet. Garganacl will rub its fingertips together and sprinkle injured Pokemon with salt. Even severe wounds will promptly heal afterward. Pokemon Violet. Many Pokemon gather around Garganacl, hoping to lick at its mineral-rich salt. Cloth. Pokemon Scarlet. Cloth hangs upside down from cliffs, waiting for prey, but Cloth can't remain in this position for long because its blood rushes to its head. Pokemon Violet. This Pokemon lives on sheer cliffs. It sidesteps opponents' attacks, then lunges for their weak spots with its claws. Ogerpon. Cornerstone Mask. Pokemon Scarlet. This form has excellent defenses, absorbing impacts solidly like the cornerstones that support houses. Pokemon Violet. In this form, it draws on the power of stone. Its body is rock solid, protecting it from all manner of attacks. Iron Boulder. Pokemon Scarlet. It resembles a Pokemon described in a dubious magazine as a Terrakion that had been modified by an evil organization. Pokemon Violet. It was named after a mysterious object recorded in an old book. Its body seems to be metallic. And with that last entry for our rock type reading, this concludes our Rock Pokedex video. But before I let you guys go, it's not gonna be any fancy question because it's not on a holiday. So I'm just gonna straight up ask you guys, what's your favorite rock type Pokemon and why? For me, I'm gonna name two, and one is an OG, Onix. When I first saw him in the anime as Brock's Pokemon, and I found out he was a rock snake, I thought he was really dope. I thought he was one of the coolest rock Pokemon designs growing up because it was just so random. A giant rock snake. But yeah, I liked Onix a lot, and also the name Onix was really cool, so it's my favorite OG rock Pokemon. But if I had to choose one from today's video, I think it would be Minior, and it's because Minior is so freaking cute, and they come in different colors, and they're little stars, colorful stars, and they just look like they would be really cute and delicious candy, like if they made Minior gummy bears or rock candy. I don't know, there'd be like different flavors, like strawberry, green apple, lemon, just variety, like Skittles. They'd be like Skittles, but overall is just really cute. So like I went from like a really cool Onyx Pokemon to really cute, adorable Minior.